Welcome to The Explainer, where we love to break down big ideas. And today, we're going to tackle a really big one: the different kinds of rules that shape our existence, from the vastness of the cosmos right down to the inner workings of our own minds. Okay, let's just dive right in with this zinger from a philosophical debate online. This one sentence, it just perfectly captures this huge tension, right? Are we just incredibly complicated machines, totally governed by these unchangeable laws? Or is there something more to us? And boom, that single thought just opens up this whole universe of questions about reality itself. The thing is, we're not just living under one set of rules. We're actually navigating multiple, overlapping rulebooks all the time. So let's unpack them. And we're going to start with the biggest one of all.
All right, let's start at the top with the biggest rule book there is, the fundamental, and let's be honest, often super bizarre laws of physics. You could think of this as the literal operating system for reality.
As far as we can tell, the entire universe runs on these core principles, things like gravity, the strong nuclear force, and they seem to be totally constant, completely unchanging. These aren't just suggestions, they are the absolute bedrock of existence. So, the physicist Sean Carroll points out something really strange. The deep, fundamental laws of physics, they don't really care if time runs forwards or backwards. So why do we? Why can we remember yesterday but have no clue about tomorrow? Well, the answer seems to be that the universe started in this incredibly simple, very orderly state, what scientists call low entropy. Imagine a brand new deck of cards, all in perfect order. As you shuffle it over time, it just naturally gets more and more disordered. That one-way street from order to chaos, that's what we feel as the arrow of time. And if you think the arrow of time is a bit of a mind bender, well, the actual fabric of reality is even weirder. I mean, at the tiniest quantum level, you've got theories like Roger Penrose's spin networks. They suggest that space-time isn't this smooth, continuous thing we imagine. No, it might actually be, well, pixelated, a kind of geometric grid that builds reality itself. It's a rule book written in a language that is so far from our everyday experience, we're really just learning to read the first few words. So here's the kicker. Even this most fundamental rulebook of them all has this giant question mark slapped right on the very first page. The entire story of our universe, the very flow of time that we live in, it all depends on this one starting condition that, for now, we just can't explain. So if the cosmic rules are essentially written in stone, what about the rules that we make up for ourselves? This is where we pivot from the cosmic down to the human level, where the rule books, they get a lot more flexible and, frankly, a whole lot messier. Right. So unlike the laws of physics, the rules we invent to run our societies are complicated, they're always changing, and, well, a lot of the time, they're pretty flawed. This is the world of laws, ethics, and social agreements. I mean, just take financial regulations. This timeline of the Basel Accords, it's a perfect example. We don't discover these rules in nature, we invent them. And we are constantly rewriting them, usually after some big crisis, trying to patch the holes in the systems that we ourselves created. But our human rulebooks aren't just about technical stuff like banking. They're also about our core values. And this quote from a modern version of the Hippocratic Oath is such a powerful contrast. It's an ethical rule, right? It's a reminder that sometimes the most important guidelines aren't about procedure at all, but about our connection to each other. But these systems we build, they can really buckle under their own weight. Take a look at this number, 57 million. According to research from Dr. Srivatsa, that's how many unnecessary consultations happened in the UK's National Health Service in just 1 year. It's just a staggering figure. It shows you what happens when a system's own rules, mixed with public anxiety and all kinds of other pressures, just spin out of control. And these kinds of unintended side effects, they pop up everywhere. You create financial safety nets, and suddenly you're encouraging the very risk you wanted to prevent. You make rigid medical checklists, and a doctor might stop listening to the patient's actual story. Our overuse of antibiotics, it's literally creating superbugs. And maybe the most powerful rules of all are the ones that are never written down. The social norms that quietly shape who we are and what we do without us even realizing. Okay,
So let's zoom in one more time to the most personal rulebook of all, the one that governs our own inner world of choice, belief, and action. So here we are, right back at that huge philosophical crossroads we started with, and it's captured so well in these online debates. On one hand, you have the deterministic view. If you rewound the universe and every single particle was in the same place, you'd make the exact same choice every time. Or is there something truly free in us? Something that actually makes decisions outside the strict laws of physics? Now, moving away from pure philosophy, some people argue you can actually write new rules for your own mind. Ryan Doris, for instance, lays out this kind of method for upgrading your own mental operating system. The idea is simple. Take on a huge challenge, something just beyond what you think you can handle. That intentional overload forces you into a state of intense focus, or flow, which can literally rewire your brain and expand what you're capable of. It's like a personal rulebook for growth. And then you have other traditions that argue the most important rules aren't scientific or social at all, they're spiritual. This point of view says that real guidance doesn't come from out there in the world. It comes from listening to this inner authority, this quieter voice inside ourselves. So, where does that leave us? We've got all these competing sets of laws, the cosmic, the human, the personal. How on earth do they all fit together in our day-to-day lives? Well, it seems we live in a world that's governed by the fixed, unchangeable laws of the universe. But we navigate that world using the messy, flawed, evolving rules of society. And ultimately, we make our choices guided by the deeply personal rules of our own consciousness, our own beliefs, our own values. And I think that's the question this all boils down to. Are we just characters playing out a script that was already written by physics and causality? Or do we, through the rules we create for our societies, and maybe even for ourselves, get to write some of the story? Which rule book really defines your reality? Thanks for joining this explainer.